Hello everyone, very good morning and good evening. Welcome to our SAP Step Up Circles. I hope you all are able to hear me loud and clear. If you're able to hear me loud and clear, quickly LC in the chat window. Quickly LC in the chat window. If you're able to hear me loud and clear, LC in the chat window. Thank you. Thank you very much for mentioning LC loud and clear. Thank you very much. I would be quickly starting my session, but before starting my session, which is today on SAP IBP overview, I will just let you guys know that we are running on to the webinar mode, which means you guys would not be having access to unmute yourself. But anytime, if you have any questions, you can feel free to put it on the chat. Okay, anytime if you have any question, you can feel free to put it on chat. We'll go through the questions in the chat and we'll answer in between. We'll be taking a break to answer your questions. But if by any chance we miss any of your question, you can also drop your questions to us on support@shastrageek.com. So myself plus Sam, we both together will be running this session. I will start it up with giving you some basic overview, and then later on I will hand it over to Sam, who would be going ahead and give you the more IBP overview. He's actually the main expert of IBP. So before I get it started, I just want to know my audience a little bit better. So if you can mention your SAP module in the chat, any SAP module which you are working, you might be working as a consultant, end user, key user, or you are just learning, you're not working, you are just learning a particular SAP module, or you are thinking to learn. Okay, you are thinking, okay, I would be learning this particular module, right? Or if you say that, okay, I am right now, I don't belong to SAP, I just came into this session to have some knowledge on IBP. You can also mention NA, not applicable. I don't have any kind of experience, exposure, or I'm not related to SAP as of now. Quickly, your module names. Okay, we have people here from a lot of, some people are there from IBP background, some people are from PP, ABAP, MM, PP, S4HANA, experienced people are there, FICO consultants are there. So we have a mix of audience here. We have a different module people available here. So the way we would be conducting this session, it would be I would just let you know that what are the things we will be covering and how we will be covering the things, because I'm having a different set of audience available here. Not everybody is related to planning. So before we speak about IBP, I would be covering and letting you know that what is IBP, what is planning basically, and what kind of different planning tools are there, and where IBP sits in. So that is the brief part. I would be covering it. Then it will be over to Sam. Sam would be covering that. What is IBP, what kind of modules are there in IBP, right? And what kind of things can be done with IBP. We'll try to take you through some IBP screens also so that you can have a little bit of overview of how the IBP screens look like. And then Sam will also cover what kind of curriculum, if you want to learn IBP, what are the things you need to learn it. Then it will switch back to me again, and then I will be going through the career opportunities in IBP, that what kind of career opportunities are there if you want to learn, what you need to do it. And if you learn SAP IBP, or if you look forward IBP as a career, what kind of career opportunities are there? We'll try to demystify the career opportunities within SAP IBP. That's we would be covering it. And then if you have any open question and answers through your chat, we would be answering those questions. So that's how the sequence and structure of this session would be there. So without wasting any time, let's quickly get it started and let's jump on to the topic, SAP IBP. You all came here to know about SAP IBP, right? Now, what is SAP IBP? We would be talking about what actually the IBP is. It's called Integrated Business Planning, right? But basically, it's a planning tool. Basically, it's a planning engine which does the planning, right? And I know a lot of people have joined from the technical background, FICO background, no SAP experience. So I just want to make sure you understand, before you understand SAP IBP, you understand planning. So after end of the today's session, I want you that anywhere you go, at least you would be getting from today's session that, here, what is IBP? IBP है क्या? What kind of planning scenarios handle? How business can use IBP, or what kind of benefits business can take it from IBP? That kind of understanding you would be developing, or which departments in the business IBP can support. That kind of understanding you will be getting it. And if you want to learn SAP IBP, what are the things you need to do it? We have both kind of self-paced training in IBP, and we also have instructor-led trainings available in IBP. My team would be sharing those links also. We are keep on doing the batches for IBP, and the next batch also is next live batch is also going to start very soon, and Sam is the trainer for it. If you would like to join our training session, the support team will provide the link for the same at the end of the session. Okay, let's first jump into what is planning, right? Because the multiple different kind of audience are there, it would be good to understand ki, bhaiya, what is planning. And I will also take you through the different kind of planning tools are there, right? Where those different tools, different planning tool sets, that's also we'll be discussing it. But let's try to understand what is planning. Now, planning is required in different areas, right? In different areas, the plannings are required. So first thing I'm talking about in the sales. When we talk about sales, there is a common name which comes into the picture, SOP. It's not standard operating procedures, but it's sales and operations planning. Sales and operations planning comes into the picture. Now, what is sales and operations planning? And that is very, that is very common kind of planning which is required everywhere across the industries, across the businesses. This kind of planning is required. Now, what is sales planning? What is standard? Again, I'm saying standard, it's not standard operating procedure, but it's sales and operations planning. What is sales and operations planning? Let's say you are selling cars, right? When you sell cars, you would be having a different models of the cars, right? You would be having a model, let's say BMW X1, BMW X2, BMW X3, and multiple different variants, right? When you do your planning, that how much of the sales we are expecting in next year, January, how much of the sales I am expecting. February, how much of the sales I am expecting. March, how much of the sales I am expecting. April, how much of the sales I am expecting, right? That figures you need to identify that how much of the sales we are expecting or how much of the sales we are forecasting to do it. And this happens in the most of the industries, specifically the industries which is kind of a make to stock industry. It does not apply to the industry which is completely which is completely make to order. Let's say you sell aeroplanes, right? You don't produce aeroplane and store it, right? So that part would not be there. Otherwise, for there also there would be some forecast so that you can plan the raw materials actually if the order comes, right? But it is very significant across the industry and specifically main make to stock industry. You need to plan it. Some companies plan it for 12 months. Next 12 months, they would be having a planning. Some companies would be having a planning for 24 months. Some companies 36 months, and some company would be planning beyond 36 months. And they would be improving these plans. So what we are planning here that in this month, this model, I'm targeting to sell 5,000. In February month, my expected sale is 4,000, then 5,500. These kind of figures we require for all sort of my products or major products, the final products which I am selling it. I need to plan for them. I need to have my set planning for them. Now, from where these figures are coming? Okay, from where these all figures are coming? These all figures will come from a planning engine. Okay, and that the what kind of planning it is? The planning is called sales and operations planning, or it is also called the demand planning. It can be called demand planning. I am also telling you some terminologies which is used so that it's very important to understand, to visualize the business process before you understand the IT tool. So that's what I'm trying to visualize you that what are the business processes are there where these kind of tools would be required, right? This is also called, so the terminologies which you're using, sales and operations planning, demand planning, forecasting. This is also called forecasting. For this forecasting, the different kind of models would be required. I would be taking the historical requirements of my sales, and I would be putting a lot of other influencing factors, that what kind of growth I'm expecting. Okay, this was my historical sales, what I'm expecting in the market, what are the other factors are there, that I would be considering it. I would be considering my capacity, how much actually I can produce it. I need to consider my supply chain capacities also. I need to make sure my production team, my production department is in sync with this plan. My supply chain department, the supply team, the procurement team is in sync with it, because they need to also ensure that vendor has a capability to match these figures, right? My sales and marketing team also agrees with this figure. And when everybody agrees with this figure, this is called the consensus of demand, right? So that kind of planning would be required. This planning is called sales and operation planning, or it is called your demand planning. So to plan, to understand, and this is a very, very big topic. Now, the first thing before I say that how this planning would be happening, why this planning is required. This planning is required because until unless you don't plan it, you would not be able to backtrack and do the other plannings. You also need to plan how much of the production you would be doing in each month, which products. Based on that, you need to ensure that whether the resources are there, where the manpowers are there, where the machine capabilities are there, right? All these things you need to arrange it. And then whether I would be able to supply. I need to also plan my supply, right? Anything which I am planning to sell in January, there can be the long lead times. Maybe I would be buying those materials in the month of June, and I would be producing in the month of September, so that it is available for sale in the month of January. So sometimes the lead cycles are as long as that the buying process need to start a year ago. It totally depends on the materials lead times, right? So I need to make sure I have a sales planning. I need to make sure that I should have a production plan. I need to make sure that I should have a supply plan. Now, all these plans are linked with each other, and this demand plan is very important, from where it would be starting, so that I know how much of the sales I'm expecting in each month. This is expected sales. Actuals one can be different, right? And this will lead further to my production plan, and this will lead further to my supply plan, to my supply planning, production planning, supply plan. Okay, so production planning need to be fine-tuned with this, and then the supply planning need to be fine-tuned with this. And to do this, we have a different tools which can be used. It now, all idea you will get it when you go into the training. Every session you would be getting to able to understand these kind of planning, and where IBP would be coming into picture, you would be able to know more. Now, here, to manage these things, to manage S&OP, what kind of tools SAP has? Let me ask you, to manage the sales and operations planning, what kind of products or tools SAP offers? Quickly in the chat. What kind of products or tools SAP offers? If you don't know the answer, you can type NI. Feel free to type NI if you don't know the answer. Quickly, everyone. So what we do, we use these hacks to ask the question to you, so that you should be able to think through, and you should be able to type something. As soon as you use your fingers on the keyboard, your focus shift back to this session. That's what we want to make sure. It's difficult to being focused in the session. To make sure your focus come back to this session, I would be asking some questions to you. Try to answer them. If you don't know the answer, just type NI, no idea. Okay. Some people said APO we can use. Very good. Yes, APO we can use. Advanced planning and optimization can be used. PPDS for S&OP purpose, we don't use it. There's a separate purpose for PPDS. MRP, no. With MRP, we cannot do S&OP. MRP is not a tool of S&OP. Now, that is also a role of a kind of a planning architect, because within SAP and outside products combination also, there are so many different planning products are there, that you need to clearly understand for which kind of business, what kind of planning tools would be required. That is important to understand, right? PPDS, APO, IBP. Now, different tools are there, but these different tools would be solving the different purpose. C4C, IBP.